Got something interesting in today from a relatively new company out of Colorado here in the United States. So this company set out to make a budget knife that still has more of a premium feel, semi-premium materials, but wanted to keep the cost low. So while this is a US-based company, this knife is OEM'd overseas. So today we are looking at a knife from Tactus. Tactus, I believe, started back in 2024. They had one model before this, and this is the Strike. So the Tactus Strike is a 14C28N, aluminum handles with a carbon fiber inlay. We've got a non-reversible deep carry, semi-deep carry wire pocket clip there. I can see from here we've got a front flipper and thumb stud opening, and I see a button here, and it actuates a liner lock. So this button has a spring on it as well, and I want to look further into that as we go along. We'll do a little disassembly and see how this thing goes together. So initial impressions on this knife. Well, the front flipping action on it is very good, as well as a reverse or a thumb flick has very nice action on this knife. Now they rate this 14C28N at 59 to 61 Rockwell, which is a great range for 14C28N. Now 14C28N is by far my favorite budget steel. I mean, we are very lucky to have 14C28N as a budget steel even. It's extreme levels of toughness and corrosion resistance, and it's got low edge retention. It is still a budget steel, but I think what it makes up for in toughness and corrosion resistance is more than enough for an excellent everyday carry knife. We've got a very interesting blade shape here. So this is technically a tanto. We've got a little swedge at the top there and just this really nice, interesting angular design. So very nice for utility, good piercing object there. Let's see, the ergonomics are very well enough. We don't have a forward finger choil, but that's fine. I don't always need one. I'm glad that we do have a sharpening choil as well. Now I will have to do a sharpening on this one to see how that plunge grind really is, to see if we develop any smile, but first impressions, it's a little iffy, but it's fine. It's a budget knife. So this one comes in at $55 with the aluminum handle scales and the carbon fiber inlay. They do have a full carbon fiber version for just $49. So this is a contender for something in that budget banger realm if it can perform, if it can live up to that. It still has to be a great knife, and I think it definitely could contend for that. So let's see. We've got a lanyard hole in the back there. We've got this very nice backspacer here with some green. I don't know if that's what kind of coating it is to give it that color, but we've got a matching accent on that thumb stud as well. So this is, again, a button-actuated liner lock. So not a compression lock like we see on the Smock or some of the other button-actuated top liner or compression locks that we've been seeing a lot of lately. Now this does have this spring here again, and that does give it a little bit. It can give it I want to say almost a crunchy action. Like you can tell there's a spring in here. The very first time I actuated that lock, it didn't feel like a standard where the button just meets the lock bar and it was a solid piece. Like there is a little bit of wiggle there, and I'm wondering what role that spring plays in that. I wonder if it's there because that button isn't affixed to the lock bar, if it's to keep the tension out, but we're going to take a deeper dive in it and look and see. So out of the box, this edge, it's not too bad. It feels like it's got a little bit of bite to it. Let's see how we can cut paper. So it'll cut. It's good. It's nothing spectacular. It's not the sharpest out of the box that I've felt, but it's certainly not the dullest. Like I wouldn't consider it dull. Right around that transition part between the belly and towards that tanto tip, there is a little bit of a dead spot there, or a duller spot. Let's see what we get on the best tester, just out of curiosity here. I got it tied up and ready. $193. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. So I'll go ahead. I'm going to plan on sharpening this up, really see how that 14C28N performs. And you always really want to sharpen a knife out of the box anyway, get rid of any burnt edge, and you can get usually a better performance out of steel after a few sharpenings. So let's look at the thickness behind the edge here. 15 and a half thousandths at the belly. That's great. A 14C28N, very tough steel. So we should be able to handle that very well. And I anticipate it being thicker behind the edge, over closer towards the tip with that Tanto style blade, as they generally should be for more stability towards the tip. Yes, and it definitely is. 20, looks like we're getting at 21 thousandths behind the edge at the tip. All right, so let's really get into the action on this knife. So we can do a deployment by depressing that button for the lock bar, and that works just fine. The front flipper is pretty good. We got a good action with the front flipper. I'm not sure if I'm too crazy about the way that it protrudes there. Let's see, sitting in the pocket, that's not going to get in the way. That's facing down towards the seam. I don't see that being an issue at all. And it works very good. Very good front flipping action on that. I do like having a front flipper as an option, and I'm liking that it is not the only option. I don't like it when a front flipper is the only option, just because I don't always get it 100% of the time. So when I know I'm gonna need it, I can use the thumb stud, but if I wanna play around it a little bit, I can use that front flipper. Some really good finger roll action there as well. So let's get into this guy and see how, what that spring by the lock bar is doing. All right, so we've got T9 on the pivot, T7 on the body screws, and T6 on the pocket clip screw. I am not super crazy about that, but what can you do? It's not the end of the world. Let's see, we've got cage strand with ball bearings, of course, to be expected. We've got a stop pin here that we see is not anywhere close to the heel of the blade. That seems to be something that is happening quite a lot lately. That's how we have it closed in the open position, or how it meets the open position. All right, so let's look at this spring here. Still not 100%. I think it's to keep this button in place here. I think it's to, let's just pull it out and see. Yeah, I wonder if it is just to keep the button fixed in this position here, because it just sits down in there. So I imagine it could lift up out if it wasn't under that spring tension. Yeah, it's probably just for an ease of assembly thing. I'm not sure. If anybody has any ideas about that, let me know. But that's how that button sits affixed to that, because it's not, there's no room given for it to move around when it's there. It's just pushing on it to keep it tensioned in place. So I'm guessing that's why that spring is there. And it doesn't appear to get in the way of anything. Like, it does feel, it makes it feel a little crunchy when you move it. Like it feels like the spring is knocking on something, but there's no real area that I think it would be hitting on too much. It might be touching up on the tang of the blade a little bit, but not enough to really cause any damage or anything, so to say. All right, so pretty solid construction otherwise. We've got some skeletonized stainless steel liners that look like they got a little stone wash on them. All right, so let's go ahead and get this guy back together. All right, so not a lot of fiddling with having to tune it. It is a knife riding on ball bearings, so it is very easy to get back together and in good working order. Nice and solid lockup. There might be a whisper of up and down play, no left and right play, maybe just a very hair of up and down play. But again, this is a $50 knife. It's, I think, got just fine finish for a $50 knife. I think it is appropriately priced with the materials. The 14C28N at 60 Rockwell is fine for that price. The aluminum handle scales and carbon fiber inlay is excellent at that price. The only real criticisms I have with this knife is the grind lines it adds a weird foggy look to the blade, like it's not a steady satin finish. It's not bad, it's not going to affect the performance of the knife at all, it's just a little aesthetic piece, and that little bit of kind of crunch feeling you get with that spring in the button to actuate that liner lock. But other than that, it is an excellent knife. For a top liner lock with a really nice front flipping action and thumb stud 14th Street 28N with the materials and everything, I think this is a solid option. So in transparency, Tactus did reach out to me to send me this knife for the purpose of the review, and if you want to check it out, you can click the pinned comment, the link in the pinned comment below, and grab one, check it out. Let me know if you think it's going to be the next budget banger. Thanks for watching.